But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways.
All right, this is serious. Last night, the host of 60 Minutes looked into the camera and explained to the audience that the Trump administration has been applying undue pressure not only on the media, but on law firms, on universities, on courts, and the judges that exist within those courts. But it came to a culmination when Bill Owens, a top producer at 60 Minutes, resigned and came out saying that Paramount, the parent company of 60 Minutes, is placing pressure on them to curtail the way they speak about the Trump admin so they don't get sued once more. And this is Trump reaching his end goal successfully. This is called the chilling effect. I always use this example, but imagine if I watched another person on YouTube get sued into oblivion, they lose their life, they lose their house just for covering the Trump administration, right? We've even heard stories of David Pakman getting weird warnings. So if I saw that happen, theoretically, what Trump wants is me to then curtail how I speak about the admin, but that's not how it works. Not on YouTube. We will continue to relentlessly push back, and it seems like even people at 60 Minutes are revolting, which I am proud of. They're going through a little bit of turmoil at 60 Minutes, and let's start from the beginning. So the other day, 60 Minutes chief producer resigns in emotional meeting. Quote, "The company is done with me. The news program has faced mounting pressure from both President Trump and its corporate ownership at Paramount, the parent company of CBS." And this is the chilling effect right here. Trump is doing this, remember, with universities. He sent a letter to Columbia. They bent the knee. He sent a letter to Harvard. They didn't bend the knee. He sent this letter to many different universities trying to get them to change their curriculum and to scare other universities. Even if, like, a lot of times when people think of authoritarianism, they think of people pointing guns in the faces of journalists. Like the CNN headquarters getting their door kicked down and there's guns everywhere. That's not even what authoritarianism has to be. That's on the extreme end of the spectrum. Authoritarianism could also just be the executive branch placing undue legal pressure on media entities or independent organizations in an attempt to get them to slightly curtail their speech. Right now, there are students on college campuses who aren't speaking as freely as they otherwise would because they don't want to get their visas revoked. That is a scary, scary thing. But to continue with this article, CBS News entered a new period of turmoil on Tuesday after executive producer of 60 Minutes, Bill Owens, said he would resign from the long-running Sunday news program, citing encroachments on his journalistic independence. Incredibly, incredibly scary. Before we dig into this further, I want to show you something that really matters. Because as legacy media faces more and more pressure, this new digital media space is rising fast, and frankly, it's the one thing the Trump admin did not account for. We are the variable that they did not account for because we can continue to push our independent platforms. I mean, look at this. People don't like when I show this chart, but the Adam Mockler channel beat Charlie Kirk, beat Tucker Carlson, and beat Benny Johnson in terms of month-over-month subscriber growth. Now, we didn't beat Fox News. If you want to help us beat Fox News over this next month, all you have to do is go down, hit like, and click subscribe. Genuinely, the old guard of journalism let us down. They are being squeezed, and we are rebuilding from the ground up, and you guys can be a part of it. So thank you so much. But let's continue. In an extraordinary declaration, Mr. Owens, only the third person to run the program in its 57-year history, told his staff in a memo that, quote, "Over the past months, it has become clear that I would not be allowed to run the show as I have always run it, to make independent decisions based on what was right for 60 Minutes, right for the audience." And let me remind you, 60 Minutes has faced mounting pressure in recent months from both President Trump, who sued CBS for $10 billion and has accused the program of unlawful and illegal behavior, and its own corporate ownership at Paramount, the parent company of CBS News. That is when Scott Pelley came out late last night, looked into the camera, and just broke it down. Before I play this clip, have you guys ever seen the movie The Insider? It's with Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. Pacino plays an executive at 60 Minutes, and they're breaking the tobacco story, the Jeffrey Wigand story. I'd check it out. It reminds me a lot of this. Let's watch this clip. Remember, drop some blue hearts, drop a like.
On Bill Owens, who until this past week, in tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. Bill was with CBS News nearly 40 years, 26 years at 60 Minutes. He covered the world, covered combat, the White House. His was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along. I'm Scott Pelley. We'll be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes.
Very, very powerful. And I guess a few takeaways are that the free market really does create bad incentives with journalism. When billion-dollar merger deals rely on political loyalty to get done, that directly leads to journalism being squashed. We could see it right here. And, we've seen this across multiple facets. I want to reiterate, this is a very important point. That's why I keep saying it. But the Trump admin is doing this across multiple fronts, and if you blink, you might miss it. They've pressured multiple universities, threatening funding over curriculum and speech and hiring. They've leaned on law firms. They've blacklisted and intimidated law firms to get $600 million of pro bono work for the administration. And they've launched crusades against courts, against specific judges. They've arrested judges. I just made a video about this the other day. They've called to impeach judges, and even Supreme Court Justice Alito had to come out and say, dude, chill, stop calling to impeach judges. And now they're tightening the screws on major news outlets, trying to turn free press into state-friendly propaganda so that billion-dollar mergers can actually happen. So the resignation of Bill Owens isn't really just about Bill Owens. I do want to say he seems to be an incredibly, incredibly respectable man, and I applaud everything he's done. But it's bigger than just Bill Owens. It's about a broader collapse of the safeguards that exist to act as a check on the presidency. If he controls the courts, controls the media, controls education, I haven't even brought up the Department of Education yet. That's an entirely different story, but it all fits together because as Trump tries to break down the old guard, he didn't see us coming. He didn't count on the explosion of independent digital media holding him accountable every single day. This video will likely get copyrighted from Paramount or from YouTube. That keeps happening to me, so make sure you drop a like to help boost it anyways, and say F you to the people at Paramount who will likely copyright this video because I covered this. But I love you all. See you in the next video. We built something great. Peace out.